I will also share with you on our training websites, right? And also, of course, some of these certifications that you can actually, do, all right, register yourself and um, to get yourself certified on, as an Eikon users. Okay, let me share my screen now. Can you actually see my screen?
Yes, Mr. Wahong.
Okay, great. So we will start with Eikon, yeah. So what you are looking at here now, this is Eikon, right? So to access Eikon, you need to have the user ID and the passwords, right, at any time, and to logins, okay. And then before so let me share with you also as in any training, all right. So Eikon, um, you can actually access. There's two modes there, right? You can actually access via to download it. You go to this website icon.refinitiv.com. Okay, download it, or we can also access via the web access here. Yeah, sorry, here. All right, just click sign in here to for this for the web access. So there are of course limitations. If you're on web access, for examples, you will not have the Excel tool, which I will share with you later. What you can do using Excel. All right. And of course, some of the tools, on an Icon, which are not available if you use the web access. Okay. So this is where, the websites that you actually either download or through the web access. Coming back here. So once you log into Icon, all right. So what you see here will be on a toolbar here. Okay. And of course, it's also depending on what page the previous users are using on, right? Because you have sharing the ID. So most importantly, once you log in, all right, on top here, do you see this? There's round tabs here. You click one time, it will actually open up a drop down menu over here. Okay, do you see this? So very important is that once you open this up, this menu here, on my left side here is actually it will show me, right, the tools that that you can apply on or that you can actually use here in Icon, right? For examples, let's say for examples, if I want to open up a chart, okay, so you can actually see the various charts that it built on Icon, right? You have your volatility charts. I have my curve charts, okay. So of course, over here, of course, you have things like, for example, news and research, okay, polls, yeah. If I look at monitoring, okay, this is giving me the prices, the quotes, right? So if I click on quotes here, for examples, it will open up this page like this, okay. So say for examples, Azrina, then she asked me, right, hey, hey Wong, I need to do a study on pump prices, right? I need to know like what's the pump prices, maybe now, right? All I have to do now, I just type in pump oil. You see this in my search here, right? So you notice, right? I don't have to remember the code. Okay, you just type the descriptions. Yeah. So I'll just type in, let's say for examples, this is my future price, right? So yeah, I can just quickly put it up here. Okay. So this is a beauty, right? Once you're in here, let's say for example, I need to know, dollar ringgit, right? What's the rate here? I just type ringgit. Do you see this? I can just cross here. Yeah, it's as fast as that. Okay, once you're once you're in Icon, right? So coming back here, right? I should be more coming back here. Okay, on these tabs here. So there are various, different tools. Okay. So of course on top here there's this where the search box is. This is very similar like your Google or like your your Google search, right? You can just type it in. Let's say for examples, do you know like I think if you're following the financial news now, right, in the markets, people are talking about Asia, right? They're gonna have their meetings, next week, regarding the debt. So if I happen to need to do a research on that, I just type in Asia. You see this? I can just click here and taps here, right? So from here, You see it from here. I have my so-called, the Asia page, yeah, company page, and then I can get things like my news here. You see this? Financial statements. I will share with you more. Okay, all this will be in here. Okay, so that's with my using the search, right? So what's the search can also do? Let's say for examples, if some of you if I'm looking at let's say cryptocurrency, I can just type Bitcoin here, right? It's all global, right? I can just type Bitcoins here, and I can quickly just put it up. All right. So it's icon jet pretty much right. If I what's icon? If you ask me to some, just in one line sentence, is this your financial platform allowing you to access, all the global uh, prices, right? Historical, both current, and of course you can have access to the news as well. Yeah, in one single platform. Okay. Now, coming back here, the very first apps I'm going to share with you, right, will be home. If you click home, it will open up this page. Okay. All right. So once I'm in home here, right, you notice here, this is showing me, the corporate news, right? Corporate news, I have my fund page. I have a glance of global. What is the, the markets are doing globally, all right? And of course, what I want you to look into will be on my left side here, my asset classes. Do you see this? So in Icon, all right, you get like here pretty much show you right. I have you have access to equities, right? Company pages, right? I have access to the FX, the money markets, right? Islamic finance, yeah, funds, right? Just clicks here. So coming back here, let's say for examples, I need to do find more information, right? Let's say for examples on commodity. If looking at the crude prices now, right? Oil prices, it been like shooting up, so and so, right? Even our around 97 now, how much they're selling? Three ringgit, right? 307. So if I want to look into, let's say, look into like I want to have a view, right, on oil, right? So all I have to do here, I just click on commodities. Okay, commodities here. Do you see this? So very quickly, I have my high level overview on the commodities here, right? So of course, talking about commodities here, right? What you can do now, if you just tap on here, remember I want to focus on oil, right? So obviously I'll click on energy. But before that, you see this here? It cover like energy, metals, agriculture, right? Shipping and even weather. Yeah. So let's say, back to our um topic earlier, right? I want to look into the energy markets. All I have to do now, I just click on energy here. By your second clicks, right? I have a an overview. Yeah. Pretty much on what's happening in the oil markets, right? I get the listed news. If you want to focus more, I just tap on news here. All right. I can actually view the news in here now. Right. Another thing is that let's say for examples, I'm doing a paper now, right? So as you know, sometimes depending on your lecturers, yeah. So some of the paper might be in English, some are in Bahasa, right? Like what Azrina mentioned earlier, right? So now, one of the beauty in Icon now is that let's say for example, I am looking at this particular news. All right, make it simpler. This is the latest news, which I also happened to read it earlier. All right, okay, on oil, right? So, um, once I'm in here now, all right, let's say for example, I need to do a citation on this part, all right? So what you can do now is that in your news here, do you see this? You can also do a translate it in here now, so you don't have to like um, pull it out or whatsoever. It can be translated. Okay, translation here. And then most importantly, if I, let's say if I want to extract this out, I can either, you see on my top, this sections here, I can email it, all right, or I can even print it out. Okay, this is where the print tabs is. Is that okay? So this will be on the news site. Yeah. Let me get back to my home here. All right, this will be a news site. So of course, in my, let's say examples earlier, we were looking at the energy, right? So at any one time, then another projects I have will be now from let's say from all, somebody asked me to do an assignment on let's say on Kappa Sawit, right? On Sawit. So that's with pump. So obviously, if I, let's say I'm a new user, if I'm not familiar with icons, all I have to do, I go to home, right? From here, I change the sector to commodity, but this time I go to agriculture. All right. So from agriculture, remember this is a high level overview, all right? If you speak agriculture, they are, it's very, very wide, right? So what I have to do now in my summary here, just tabs here, you can break it down, okay? And then if you're talking about, palm oil, obviously I'll be looking at oil seed, right? Then one of the students might be asking me, hey, but then I'm not familiar, So what you do, right? But the best advice I will give to you is that, do not worry, all right? It's always, I feel, trial and error. You can just, tap it, click on it. If I'm not sure, then you can always just explore it. Yeah, that's how, it's faster for you to learn. Okay. So anyway, if my next topic will be on Palm, right? Obviously, I just click on all seat here. Do you see this? Right? I can even further refine it. You see? Because in palm, in oilseed, it covers soybean oil as well, right? In the rapeseed and so canola. So we have a page dedicated purely, on palm oil, right? By, from coming here, yeah, pretty much I have a lot of information, a lot of data, right, to support my projects or my assignment, right? He gave me all the informations that I want to, and then on top here is actually arranged nicely for me as well, right? I can see the news. If I know like the prices, okay, it's all will be there. Okay. If any questions, just feel free to stop me. Okay. So this is we're talking on homepage, right? Of course, some of you, if you happen, to have, let's say, looking at, let's say, Islamic finance, so just clicks here, right, in the homepage as well. It will bring you straight, on this particular page here, right? So in icons, it covers Islamic finance as well, right? You have access to pretty much my, the Sukuk funds, the news, yeah. So I'll be there. Okay. Now, this will be an overview, right, on the the home pages, right? The next, of course, I want to share with you will be my home, right? The next will be country pages. If you are looking into, let's say, for example, on a country perspective, right? In icon here, it does cover also. Yeah. So it does cover also here. Do you see this? So let's say, for example, if I am looking into, the country pages, right? Or I want to look into, let's say, for example, just purely on Malaysia's, right? Just go down here, right? Just taps here. It gave me, yeah, all these, the informations on, let's say, for example, the the ratings, sovereign funds, right? The policy rates, okay? And of course, if you want to look into the debt structures, yeah, people talk about debts now, right? So just clicks here, it gave me, some of the most recent, yeah, uh, news in here, okay? Will be here, all right? So this will be country pages. And of course, we do have cover on industry as well, okay? So from this industries page to come here, you can either type, industries, okay? It's you could, and you can depending on how you spell it, right? It can be plural, singulars, right? Industry, whichever. Taps here, it will bring you to this page. Here, industry page. Okay. So let's say if I want to do a research, this time instead of like countries or instead of by a particular sectors like palm or energies that we've been looking earlier. This times, if I do a research on industry, right? It can be like country or it can be like, regions or groups, right? So from here, you can, this is where you can actually filter it out by industry. Let's say examples, if I just click on, let's say energy, lah, yeah? Energy, all right? Then if I tap here, right, you can go by country, okay? If you're not sure, you can just type in Malaysia if you want to. Yeah, we fall under global emerging markets. Just type Malaysia's. All right. So it from this page, it pretty much tells me like the I can see the the indices. Right. You notice and on icons you have like beside Thomson Reuters, you have like Henry Hubs and so on. It very much depends on which industry they're looking at. All right. And of course, I get the headlines, but most importantly, what you want to see, for examples, will be the constituents, right? So I believe, like, maybe Azrina should ask me, hey, Wong, I need to know, right, which company fall under this particular industry. So to view that, you come to constituents, right? I should straight away I can see the big list here, right? Then the next thing, maybe this time I want to change it to the balance sheets, right? I can just click here. Do you see this? All right, my template straight, change to balance sheet template. Okay, is how how quick and easy for you, to do this. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, yeah. Right. Then, of course,
Mr. Wong,
yes.
my first question is, if I try to sign in with different user account, username,
Okay.
under the same browser, how can I do it?
Okay. For your university, I believe you're aware. Yeah, you have multiple user ID. All right.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
let's say, for example, if I understand you correctly, right? So what you're asking is that somebody already logged in to this account, right, on this
Yeah.
particular PC computer.
Okay.
So if you want to log into another computer, all I have to do, right? If you're talking about download versions, yeah, you click here, you see close, sign
Mm-hmm.
up.
Okay.
You, you sign
For the desktop version, it cannot be signed out.
you sign up from here. You see this?
Oh,
What I'm showing you now, right, is a desktop version, yeah. You sign up here.
oh, this.
Okay.
Okay.
Can
Okay.
Of course, if we're talking about a simple, let's say like the web browser, yeah, I think if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
you just have to log out from just close your browser. It should lock you out.
I'm using the this one desktop version, right? So
Yes.
when I try to close this one, after that I try to re-sign in again because every time I sign in, they automatically sign in using the same username.
Okay. So I understand what you mean now. So why is that happen is because there are two reason. One is that the university want to have a dedicated ID. They allocate the ID for your campus. All right.
Mhm.
Now, if you want to remove it, I can show you now. All right. All you have to do, because is that they they check on the auto login, auto sign in. You click here, right?
Mhm.
From the folder here. There's one tabs called stop automatic sign in. Do you see this?
Okay.
So if you click this one, right?
Uh-huh.
I hope you don't lock me out. Let me show you first. Here. Do you see this?
Okay.
Yeah. So you just click continue. Then
Mm.
it will remove the code, the cookie or whatever, the user ID that are stored in that particular PC.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Okay, thank
So
you.
so that's how you do that. Okay.
Mhm.
And let me just since we are talking about this, right? Login, sign out, this kind of thing. Very important is that please remember, this is a single sign-in access. So let's say, for example, I am using let's say one ID user ID number one, right? And somebody using the same user ID number one, they log in at another campus, it will lock you out. Yeah, it will lock the previous user out.
Yeah.
Okay. So just be aware of that lah. Because otherwise then, people like Asno or Nohamimi, then they will start calling me like, hey, what happened to my user? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, to your questions, yeah, you just click on stop auto sign over here. All right. So coming back here. So remember, I have this list now, right? So let's say, for example, one of the advantage is that if I want to pull this data out, they if to my I want to pull it out, right? You can either you see this here, you can either PDF it, I can pull it to Excel. Okay, so if I click here, let me show you. Can simply just extract it here. Click yes. All right, I can just extract it, and then I will just put it in, to my Excel in here. Is that fine? Okay. So this will be one of the I would say advantage if you use the download platform. Yeah. So because once you download Icon onto your PC, or you use it down on your in your library, on your Excel, right? Automatically you will see on top here there will be two tabs. One will be Icon and the other one will be data stream. Yeah. So you can do the extractions from there. All right. So coming back here, so this would be my industry page, yeah, that I will be looking at, right? And of course, please do explore, because from here, right, on top here, do you see this here? So this is where you can get the arrangements nicely for you now, right? If I want to look into, let's say, for example, ownerships, I just click here, right? Or season earning, when it will be. I can do my peer analysis, or the when's the next meetings, the EGM, the AGMs. Yeah, all these information data will be in there. Okay, right. So this will be my yeah. Just have to discover this here. Now, next, um, so we'll be looking at remember earlier we looked at the homepage. We look into now the industry page, right? So now maybe what I want to do now is that I want to focus on a single company, for examples now. So let's say, for example, I want to do a study, right? So if we are all aware, most of our corporates will be hit by higher taxes next year. Um, so I believe banking is one of the worst hit, right? So if I want to do a study, have on, let's say, a particular bank, let's say type public bank, I just type here, okay? Then I'll just click here. It will straight away open up my um, company page in here. All right. So from here, what do I get, right? Um, I actually, from here, it give me, this would be my overview page, right? Okay. And then from here, it give me like, business summary, the recent news and so on, right? Especially on business summary, it will be quite useful. We get a lot of positive feedback. Things like, for a local company, maybe we are all quite aware what they are doing, but it will be especially useful if you're talking about a company in the States, or or in some companies listed in Brazil, for example, right? So it gives you a clearer understandings of what the company does and things like that, right? So from here now, I want to share with you also is that, in my overview here, just point here, right? We have like, an overview summary, valuations, yeah, fundamentals, and so on, right? So what's new? We recently we added the company tree structures here, right? So the company tree structures pretty much tells me, right, the say for examples, the subsidiary, right, of the in this case of the bank. I can actually see, what some of their registered subsidiary here. Do you see this? Right? I can see they have a few, yeah, registers, in Cambodia, outside Malaysia, in Hong Kong, right? You can do that now. Okay. So if I scroll here, this first. If I scroll here, it will show, some of these informations. It will shows me like, the when it was incorporated, or which industry, and so on. Okay. And of course, to explore on this, right, is that I can even have filled in. I can want to have just a private public. You can do that. Okay. And then I can also, like, for examples, I can just tap here by pedigree view. Okay. So it will actually shows me here. See this? Right, the hierarchy, right? Yeah. And last but not least, if I come in here, I can even see, the exposures are in this case, like, let's say private banks mainly within the Asians regions, right? Let's say, for example, if I go a bit, let's say go Genting, right? Because they're quite exposed globally. Let me show you this here. You can actually see, right? I can actually see, do you see this? So it actually tells me, right, all the subsidiaries, okay, how many companies they have, and you can even by countries and so on, right? This sort of information will be very useful, right? For let's say, for example, for analysts, right, or like for, for even for, users, um particularly now, right, if you follow the news, right, there are a lot of, like, let's say for example, Top Glove. Remember they got banned from the, from the by the American, right, for, all these ESG kind of things. um so when that news came out, right, then you might want to see, how exposed Top Glove are, right, and which subsidiaries, um, they have, how many subsidiaries they have in the States, and so on. So coming back here, I can quickly just view all this, right? Yeah, actually see, the subsidiaries in the States, right, where they registers, yeah, all these informations, okay, from here. So this will be, um, company tree structures, and of course from here, the next will be news and research, right? This pretty much, similar to the earlier page that I showed you earlier. This is where I can get, not just the latest news. You can do your, of course, you can do your, so-called the translations, right? On, Reuters news. Yeah. Okay. And of course, also is that, then somebody asks, right, where can I get all these financial statements and so on? For that one, you just come here, financial, do you see this? It's all over here. So what you come here, let's say, for example, if I look at the income statements, all right, I come to the income statements, let it load now. Okay. So in my income statements now, right, if you look here, it's actually, it can, from here it's cover up to 2012. Okay. If I want to view, like, let's see how far back I can go, you just click on the view here. You see this tiny view? Okay. Go here. Then all you should do now, I can change by, default is 10. I can go by 15, 20. Let's say, for example, I go by all periods. I update my view here. All right. Apparently it shows 2012. Okay. So some company, let's say for example, Maybank, right? We share with you. You can actually go quite far. Say the default 10. Let's say I go to 20. All right. You can go all the way.
So, sorry,
Yes.
just to give you an overview of the research project that we're going to perform this semester. So we'll
Okay.
be investigating the performance of any company, a group of companies maybe. So the data will be mainly on the financials,
Okay.
ESG, and ownership. And the second group of students will be investigating the performance of countries. So they'll be using variables, any economic variables. Tapi basically on the data of the company. So we'll be using the data mainly on financials, ESG, and ownership. So these are the
Okay.
data that we'll be using this semester. Of course, we'll be using other data, but we'll be focusing on these three types of data.
Okay. Great. ESG ownerships, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So if you talk about the first one you mentioned, financial, this will be icon. I think will be very, very helpful, right? Number one is because once I in here, right? Let's say for examples, I am looking at my the data in here right now. So I can, what I can do is that number one, let's say on 2012, right? I'm looking at this data. I can just click here. Okay. I can just extract out the this financial statement itself. Okay. So number, quickly, you do have access to the financial data, all right? Financial statements. Okay. Give you financial statements. Yeah. So like, that's big one, right? And of course, if I look into, let's say in my statements here, let's say, my income statements, right? Oh no, balance sheets. Yeah, let me share you a bit more. This one, let's load first. Let me share with you. Yeah, I want to show you on the financial statements. Let's say on my balance sheets here, all right? Besides, like I showed you earlier, right, the wheels thinking and so on. In my financial statements, right, what we can do also now is that I can just tap here. Okay. If I want to extract out, you just comes here. You see this on my top left here. I can just put it to my Excel. Close this first. Okay. I can extract out to my Excels in here. All right. So of course, if I want to have the you know the originals, or the actual statements, all you have to do, right, just comes here. Okay. I just click on here. Right. This is where you actually download the statements for you. Right. Now, the next would be, of course, ratios. If you want to do, study the data on the ratio side, right? All you have to do is come here, click on my ratios now. Okay. And then if you notice, right, all this data's in here, all right? Of course, on top right here will be where you extract it out. But I will share with you also in icons now. Let's say, for examples, on my EBITDA over common share equities, right? If I click tabs here, what you will get, right, is something like this. Do you see this? The system will actually shows you now how it's actually being calculated. Yeah. Okay. It actually shows me. So if I click on my average here, you actually break down here, something like this. Okay. Something's not right with my page here. So it should show me like how it's been calculated. Yeah. From there. Okay. That's be one. And of course, if also the next one, right, is that now people are talking about on ESG a lot, right? And as we are all aware, Refinitiv, this is where we our strength is. Yes, yeah, on ESG side. Um, so you see, if I just point here, there is a ESG tabs in here. Okay, so just clicks here. Right, just clicks here. Then it will bring you to this page. Okay. So of course, this little I will pretty much it will have a descriptions, right? Let's say, for example, if I'm not too sure what, it will actually have a like a break, drop down and explain a little bit more, right? This comes here. Okay. And it this is where yeah, you can actually view your ESG data in here. Okay. And of course, you want to change to to socials, right? Just taps click it here. This way allow you to change. Okay. So in fact, before the trains, I have also prepared some of the one of the slides here, right? Which I'll share with you guys, later on as well. Yeah, on the focusing on ESG data. Okay, a quick overview. All right. So this pretty much tells you, how it comes, what it actually measures, and how is a quick introductions on the reflective ESG. Yeah. And coming back here, of course, will be, let's say, for example, somebody asked me, hey, do you have like a white paper, right? For me to study more on, how you guys come up with the ratings and so on, right? So, what if you want that is actually in your icon page here. Do you see this tiny, small little question point marks here? Just clicks here, right? It will bring me straight to the help guide, right? So from here is very important is that a lot of users want to know their methodology. Okay, then I can get this is where all these informations will be in, right? You can download it or you can share it out. Yeah. So this is one would be on the scoring methodology, right? Which be you'll be asked a lot. Yeah, this is where is the information is all here. Okay. Is that fine? Yeah. So So this will be on the ESG side, and of course, like I mentioned, this is where you can actually allow you to extract it out, right? And over here will be pretty much the for you, right, to do your filtering. How far back, or I just want to have like 5 years or 3 years, yeah, moving here. Okay. So the next one, right? The next one that I'll show you will be on ownerships. Okay. So just point on my cursors here, on my ownerships here. Do you see this? We have the ownership summary, right? It covers shareholders, fund holders, yeah, in here. Okay. So if I just click on a quick one on overview summaries, ownership summaries, right? So it pretty much give me a quick overview. Okay. Then of course, if I want to look into, let's say for examples, the funds ownerships, yeah, all I have to do just tabs here, right? Okay. All these informations will be in here. Is that fine? And of course, then, say for examples, if I want to look a little bit more, right, on this particular fund, let's say, Vanguard Total International Stocks, index funds, right? So I can even look into it now. I can click here, right, to pull out the funds, informations, and data. Okay. So I can actually see, what these funds is, an overview, who's the managers, how big the fund is, right? ESG scoring, okay, on this, this particular funds, whether it's fall within my universe, and of course I can even see the holdings, right? By tracking basket 1, 2. I've got just simple one, a summary holdings, okay, yeah. So this will be on the funds itself, okay. Right? So just ownerships, and of course, if you want, I can from here I can even see like ownership peer analysis, right? I can actually do a comparisons, okay, and then of course, it comes with the so the latest one we have also fund shareholders reports, right? This is also released quite recently. So as and when they keep I would say improve the icons. It usually they will have something like highlight here, so that the users will know this is something a new page that introduced recently. All right.
Mr. Wong,
Yes.
if like for the Vanguard fund, can we know
Yes.
that the Vanguard most invested stock in Malaysia? Can we know that? The list of
Okay.
company that the Vanguard invest in the stock market in Malaysia?
Right. If that's the case, maybe what I will do, I will go back to the funds itself. I'm not sure whether they're segregated by country, but let's have a look here. So let's say, for example, over here, right? Because we're talking about one gut, this particular fund. Okay. So now this time I want to focus on the fund itself. I'll just click here. All right. It will show me the top 10 holdings. But the question is, I want to know how many, stocks or, beside Maybank, which other, company they invested, right? In here. So obviously what I will do, I will look into their holdings. Okay. This one is summary. So perhaps I want to look into their tracking baskets. So it will be summary holdings. Let me see. I might not have the access here. Because here, right, what it shows me is that, summary holding, it show me what companies they hold, but I don't think I can split up by countries. This would be full holdings. Let me see here. So you notice, right? Some of this, I can actually, if you are quick, right? I think you can also, notice I am like, try and error to be honest. But from here, but I understand that in funds, right? We can actually view the list of, um, uh, what's the underlying, the funds is carrying here, right? You can go by the weightings, weightage, and all. Okay, so it will by country. You can go by country as well. Now the question is, I want to see, what other funds they hold in Malaysia, right? So I can just scroll down here. Quite a lot. I can either, pull it from here, right? I can extract it out if I wanted to. Sorry, please bear with me, yeah. So what I do now, from here, I look into Malaysia's here, right? So it's all in out, but I can actually see, right? Some of the funds that invested here. Is that answer your questions?
Yes. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Wong.
sure. All right, so you can actually do this. Okay, so a lot of things, right, is that you can actually extract to your Excel first, right, and then you can just put out in such a way. Okay, right. So this is on funds, right? So of course, I do aware now ESG is getting more and more popular because in all our trainings or even discussions, we have more users, asking for ESG. So you notice, even for funds, right, it covers, yeah. So long, we have the data, it will be covers in here. Okay, just taps here. All right, you can view all the ratings and so on. Okay, so this will be the ownerships, right? And of course, what you want to do also, you might uh, want to look into, let's say, if you talk about credit ratings, it will this size here, right? The issuer ratings. Just one click here. All right, will be in here. And of course, next to it, if you notice here that we have this called peer analysis. This is where you can do your peer comparisons. It can be by by company. It can be by sectors or industries, right? So the first one I selected on peer analysis, right? So you notice they have this name here. I can do all these are customizable. I can remove Bank of China's, just have some names local, right? And the good thing of this, right, is that, we have all these templates pre-built for you already. Okay. I can just, apply in here. All right. I think per share, say. All right. I can just apply it quickly in here. Okay. So of course, once I have this here, like I showed earlier, all this is where on these sessions here allow me to extract the data, and of course, in Eikon, in terms of classifications, uh, you can also do over here, right? It can be like index or sectors comparison. Let's say, for example, if I look into say sectors, right? Okay. So once it comes here, what I'm going to share with you will be, especially if you are doing your analysis and so on, right? For in your icon, right? We actually, have two classifications. This tabs here, this it is. It covered Thomson Reuters business classifications, and also, of course, this one, right? The GICS. So GICS is actually part of Standard and Poor. Let me share with you here. All right, is this one GICS? All right. So this is actually available in Icon as well. Okay, GICS. So what is mean is that, let's say for example, I'm looking at Maybank here now, and I want to do comparisons, on GICS based on banking, for examples. I just click here. This will ringgit. You can change by currencies or by market caps. So most important is update view. Right? It will pretty much list out the list for me. Okay. So once I'm in here, right? Of course, I can, like I mentioned, I can change the reports if you want to, right? Or I can, the next maybe I can also like change by country. I mean, if I want to add more, right? Let's say for example, I want to compare, in my list here, I might want to have, let's say, Indonesia, right? Let's say, I just add in here like this. Okay, I click OK. Update my view. All right. Obviously, you see from 11 now it jumped to 59. Yeah, in here. Okay. So this is one way for you to do the peers analysis, or you can do your comparisons over here. All right. Any questions? So this pretty much on a single company studies, yeah. And of course another page, right, which will be a lot of users will use for their research or study purposes, will be this page called Screener.
Sorry, Mr. Wong.
Yes.
For the under the tab of peer analysis,
Yes.
the list of companies doing the same business, or they are only the same sector? Because as we all know, some under the sector of industry, some
Yes.
of them are doing digital, some of them are doing wood, some of them are doing metal, and so on. So if I want to list down the same company doing the same business, means that they are doing
Okay.
also wood.
Okay, understand. So now, to your questions, is a good questions. Remember, what I'm trying to show you here, right? Are my peers, right? They are peer analysis, sectors, index, and so on, right? If you're talking about sectors or index over here, this one you cannot customize it, right? It very much depends on the company that fall below the classifications of the sectors that you selected, right? Now, if you notice here on my peer analysis, if you click here, right? Thanks for highlighting this. This one is actually pretty much, by default, they put a name like this, right? Sometimes, like you mentioned, it can be a totally out, it can be like a wood company, or or a furniture company will be in here, right? It can be here. So the reason peer analysis, right? It pretty much like this is actually a page where it allows you to customize it. All right. So some of the name, it might be incorrectly picked up in here. So let's say, for example, I do not need this too. You can always just remove it. You can edit it. And then maybe over here, I can put in DBS Bank, right? If I do a regional, let me add it back here, right? I can just click here, right? I can add rank. By default, it should add. I'm not sure what happens to mine. Let me see. So you can add here, right? And of course, I can also edit peers if you want to. Let me see if this works for me this way. I can do my edit in here, right? I can reset it. I can like add few more. I can add Bursa, Bank Islam, You see this? Affins. You can add here also if you want to here, right? So once all done, there's a save tabs here. Let me pull up here. You see the save tab? I'll just click save, right? I can add this in this way, okay? And of course, also what means is that I can also add column over here, right? Add column. Let's say this time I want to have a PE ratio. I just type PE. Okay. And just add it up in here. Okay. So this, for this particular peers analysis, right? The first one here, this is very much, very much customizable. Okay. Page. I hope that answer your questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Mr.
like I said, these two, these two pretty much they fall on the classification. It can be Bursa classifications. It can be your, remember that TRBC or the other one, the GICS. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So this will be a single company studies. Yeah. So the next one that I want to share with you will be screener. Here, you type screener. Right. This will be one apps here, one page here for screener. All right. So as the name itself telling you, all right, this is a screening page. Allow you to pull, let's say for examples, this is a very good page, right? Say for examples, if I want to do a study, I want to know which company will need to pay, will be slapped with a fine, right? The 33% tax next year. So this is one way for you to do that, right? To filter out, right? Let's say, for example, if a lecturer asks you, hey, do assignment for me now, right? I want you to pull it out, pull this for me. If you're not using icons or you didn't have a proper screening tool, it would be disastrous, right? We have close to like 900 plus company listed in Bursa. Okay, both big, small, medium size. So how you going to do that? You can come here, right? I can just change by the currency. First, screening page. So you can just edit it here. This is I can include like primary, dual listing, all this you can filter out, but keep it simple. I want to look into the country of exchange. All right, you can go by select by region if you want to. All right, let's say Asia's, I can zoom it down here, or you can type it out, earlier. But let me do the lazy way. I just scroll down here, Malaysia's. I click done. All right. So when I click done, obviously it will straight away, filter, pull out all the names, right? Uh, because this is what I do, right? This is my filters now. Okay, I have the list now, 974 names in here, right? The next it will be, I'm not sure if I can do this. If I type net profit, all right. Correct me if I'm wrong, there's so many net profit. I'm not sure which one to use. Let's say I just put in or just revenue, like easier. Revenue. All right. So I can tap here. Oops, sorry. All right. You can put in here now. It can be by anything like current revenue to let's say hundreds. Let's say for examples, yeah, not too sure. This you can just put in here. Do you see this? You can just adjust it accordingly. Okay. 200 plus names. If I want to remove it, I just remove it here. Or I can go by market cap if I want to. All right. I want to scale it by market caps here. Anything above, let's say, right? 10 millions. Okay, or I can use the scaling here. Maybe this part 78%. I click done. All right. So this will be my this will be the the screener's apps functionality. Okay, can do this here. So there's so much more. A lot of things you can just tap it here. Let's say for example, I just have PE ratio anything above 50 or 10s, right? I just tap it add here. Okay, perhaps I click 10. It will just accordingly it will just keep adding in my columns here. Okay. Yeah. So this will be the screeners apps, right? And of course, it also allows you to to screen against, like I mentioned, by regions, yeah, or multiple countries as well. Okay. Right. So this would be the screener apps. What else we can do also? Let me show you, which I haven't shown you earlier, would be on my uh, charts. Oh, sorry, in my charts, right? Where's my charts? Let's say, for example, I'm looking at my EG in this case, right? I click here. Okay. In my charting, if I don't see here, I go to see more apps. All right, it will bring me straight to this page. This is something like your, your app store like that, right? So it gives you the full list. Yeah. So in my chartings here, I want this, right? This is my chart window. So what I do, I click open. Right. So once I in here, I'm looking at this is my EG, right? My EG share price in the last say 6 months or so. So if I want to pull the historical data of this particular chart, yeah, what I have to do now, I just go to, let me open a new page, easier for me to see. This is my icons charts, remember? If I want to have the historical data of this particular chart, all you have to do, you click on the charts here, point it here, right, highlight it, then you drag it, click on your cursor and release it. Okay. This is how I can get my, to pull and extract out my historical charts quickly into my Excel. Is that fine? Okay. Then, of course, if I want to screenshot it, right, for my presentation purposes and so on for my reports, I just, instead of click on the chart here, I just point somewhere here, drag it, release it. Okay. So I have my screenshots, yeah, and I have my data as well on my Excel. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Right. So yeah, this would be one way for you to do the data extractions. Now, of course, let's say for example, if this semester I have to do a study on the banks in Malaysia, right? Because I think everybody is shaking their heads, oh my God, we need to pay extra tax and so on. So if I happens, I need to do a paper on that, to do a study on that, right? It you can pull and extract like this, right? But then it will be very troublesome. Um, what I would suggest, for you to do, we can use the data stream, right? So, like I mentioned, once you download the icon on your PC, on your library, you should see on your Excel here, you have icon and data stream. Okay. So most importantly, the first thing you need to log in, because if you look here, right, all these are actually gray out. Yeah. First thing you need to do, let me log in, sign in. All right. So once you sign in, it will be enabled over here. Okay. Then if I look into my icon data stream here, right, it's enabled as well. Okay. So once I'm in here, right, you will click on these tabs here, time series request. right? And it will pop it up my, my data streams windows in here. Okay. So the next things will be, remember, in my assignments, I need to do a study on the all the banks, right, in Malaysia. So what I do now, I will come here, right? I go to find series. Once I find series here, right? This is this page is called um, Dfo Navigator. Okay, so this page is pretty much a this is where you can actually extract out, or you can find out, yeah, the page, the company's names and so on. So let's, for example, once I'm in here, right, the first thing I will do will be I'll use the clear all. Okay, so that it will filter out the names here. I mean, it will remove out all the last search. All right, let me close it again. Yeah. I'll clear all. Okay, all this clear now. So what I do now, I click on explore. Right. So once I click on explore, if you notice here, this will show the categories, yeah, that cover on data stream. Okay. So of course, we mentioned about categories earlier. You talk about the banks, right? So for that, I'll look into equities, right? And then I will go to, let's say, locally here, right? It pops here, yeah, the 10 banks name. Okay. So once it's in here, right, this is how the search result will look like in your data stream. Okay. So I can just point my cursors here, right? It can be Maybank, Public Bank. At the bottom here, it will give me a summary or an overview. Okay, over here, right? So here you can actually see, the an overview, the various, the Reuters codes, yeah, ISINs, the local codes, and all this will be in there as well, right? So if I need all these 10 names, right? I need to put the data on this all I have to do, I can just tap here, I'll check it here, and I tap on use, right? Because I have more than one name, so I need to remove this check first. Okay, and the 10 names were actually inserted in here. Is that okay? Right now, and of course, if you happen to ask me, uh, you know, the can you actually key in manually the names here? Yes, you can. Yeah. So for those of you, if you happen to know, the names, or the codes already, you can just tap in here. Yeah, that's you can do that also. Now, next, right, would be these parts, right? The data types. What sort of data you want to pull, right? So this is where the core of data stream is, right? Why people using data stream? Because of these sessions here, right? So when you're on data stream, you're not only getting data stream info, data. You have like IBAS, yeah. All this will be in here as well. Okay. So if I click on times here, let me show you time series here. Right, they have close to like how many 7,000 plus data types. Okay, cover share. All right, let me go back first. Okay, so of course here now what you can do also will be let me show you right here. Do you see this? So once I click here, right, it actually shows you what's actually being covered in your data stream, right? So like mentions some it's called ESG, right? You have MSCI, right? Russell's, yeah, IBAS is all in here. Okay, over here. So of course, the next things you need to put in is that what sort of you need to put in here, right? Maybe perhaps I want to look into dividend yield. Okay, even dividend here if you want to. I can look into, let's say, a price. All right, prices and so on. Yeah, all this can be you just can just type it in there, right? And then if I happen to, I can just click clear all. Right, and of course on top here is very important, right? Is that you see this in here? If I click here, right? The data types. Let's say, for example, the price codes for economic data, or or for your commodities or bonds might be different. So it's very important. Let's say, for example, if I'm doing a study on, let's say, on bonds or on on exchange rates, very important for you to make sure you change here, all right, to the one that the products that you are trying to put the data on. Okay, but because now I'm looking at the company, so obviously we equities. All right, so once I'm in here, if I want just to have the price and perhaps the market value and price of this tree, right? I just check it, right? And if this point here, it will come up with a description for you, right? And descriptions, what is that about, and so on. So once all good, right? You just click on use. This automatically it will be added into your data type or expressions. Okay. So next, right, of course, will be on the now start date. By default, right, it is always -2. So what you can do, right, is that you can actually depending on how far back that you want to view on the data, right? So in my case, perhaps I want to look into, let's say, 5 years, right? What I have to do now is that I'll just put -5y. Okay. So it's very important, you have to put the minus in front, because the difference, right, between, one of the major difference between data stream and Icon will be that, in the data stream, it's historical. You get the historical data. Okay. So in this case, this would be 5 years, right? So I put, -5y. Is that good? Then of course the options bottom here, right? You can display headings, just check it if you want to, right? And yeah, what you will need to just add and remove here. Once all done, right? Just click on submit. Okay. Okay, you can submit here, and then all results, right? So I get the 5 years on dividend yield, market value, and the share price, right? Closing price for the past 5 years for the all the 10 names or 11 names here. All right. So it is that simple. Yeah. So you can get all these 10 names, and then the ten names for the last 5 years. Right. So this all the raw data. Yeah. The raw data, and then yeah, just a few clicks away. Is that okay? Right. So not to worry, guys. So what I will do, right, later as well, is that I'll show you the uh the website where we have further more training, and of course refreshers, training videos for you as well. Yeah, so you can go through it. I do know, especially for those that are first time looking at all this, right? It might be a bit. It's not difficult, but you will need just some practice and to get used to it. Yeah, and then you can actually you're quite easy for you. Okay, to extract all this data out. Any questions so far?
Mr. Wong,
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
a question. On the data type, can we put more than one data type? For example, you put on the market value, right? So if
Yes.
let's say I would like to have total asset and also total debt, can it be done?
Yeah. Can it is possible. In fact, right, we have clients that actually they put quite to much more. So let's say, for example, to your question, right? Let's say I want to do another one, right? I go here, okay. So most importantly, I need to put a few names here, right? Let's say, right? I click use here. So if you want to have more than one, right? What you do, right, is that you comes here. So yeah, like I mentioned, right? So this time I want to have market value. I click use, and then I come back here. Then yeah, you mentioned total asset, right? So obviously I do not see total asset here because it might be hiding somewhere, because they are more than hiding in between the 15,000 plus name here, right? So I can type this total asset. You see this? So total asset, when I just type in, right? Is here. Okay. So of course here will show me the various sources, right? It can be from WorldScope, from Lippers, IBAS, yeah. So let's say for um, I'll just take a one the top here, current total asset. Okay, I click use. You see, it will just put a hit such thing here. Yeah. If one more, I'll just add again. You can do that also. Right. This time I want maybe PE. Right. Click here. Oh, another thing, right? So some of you must be wondering, hey, why 1 2 star, 1 3 star, yeah? So if I point here, right, you see this? So it shows me primary headlines, key source. This is actually useful because some of the data, right? If especially for companies that are, say, for example, might be delisted or so on, right? Some of the data it will still in your data stream, right? But then the stuff will not be highlighted here. Basically, it's saying that it stop updating things like that or delisted company. Yeah, but this point here, it will shows you. Okay, so I click add here. You see, you can edit this such a way, right? So you actually, to your questions, yes, it can add more than one or much more. Is that? I hope that answer your questions.
Yeah,
Right.
yes. Yeah.
And of course, nothing to highlight will be the start date, right? Let's say at any one time, if you let's say, ma'am, you ask me, I want to have 10 years, right? You just minus 10. Very very important. Make sure you put the minus in front because, like I say, right? You see, in the subscription you have now, right, is as in the past for academic, right, or even for asset management, they subscribe to data stream until today, But the main difference between data stream and Icon, which I show you earlier part of today's sessions, is that Icon give you like real time, or I would say the last 15 minutes, whereas data stream, right, is always yesterday, yeah, up to yesterday. So it's always historical, and yeah, you just put in the minus here. Right. Okay. So this one. Now, last but not least, let me share with you also another, I would say, features, right, on data stream, right, will be on the charting. Okay. The charting capabilities of data stream. Yeah. Let me show you. You click charts here. Right. This one, it's being used widely, not just by academics, but fund houses. We have like people like TA, public, they use this, right, to extract the charts from here, to put it in some of their factories and so on. So once you're in here, right, you click here, it will open up the data stream chart studio, right? Okay, close first. All right, it will come here. You see this? So by what I want to do now, I will just maybe this is the default one now. Yeah, let me click a new one, a new chart. All right. So for here, I can type in, let's say you can type in Malaysia GDP if you want to. This. Okay. Something like this. Right? You add like this. Okay. Or if I want, I can also do things like, for examples, if I do a comparison, right? Let's say ringgit, US dollar. All right. Just ringgit to US dollar. Okay. And then maybe now I want to put, let's say, remember, some people saying that, if I do a correlation, right? Somebody asked me, hey, do you think ringgit is more correlated to pump prices? Is that the correlation still valid? So what I do now, I just type from pump. Or no, it should be let's see here. All right. Here, features. Second, not remember what's a pump. I need to put in the codes here. Okay, this might be a good example. So sorry, because I need to find out the codes. For time's sake, maybe this I will change it to my oil, to crude oil, right? If I see whether it is, how correlated it is, right? If I just put crude oil, right? So I can actually, change the charts here, right? I can just put it up somewhere here. Okay, whether it is, the correlations happens and so on. And of course, another one that I can also do would be, let's say, remember just now we put in some of the bank's name in here. I can just put in, like, let's say, quickly a few banks' name. All right. Done as well. Say here. Right. I just put in here. Okay. So let's say, for example, I have these three names here, right? And once I'm done here, now what I can do now, what you need to do is make sure you save. You have to save here before I can apply it. All right. It will save on the clocks here. You can put in the names, all name here. All right. I click OK. Put it in one of the folder. From a folder here, and here automatically become enable. Okay, so I can extract it, export the to Excel, Words, or PowerPoint. Right. Say here, if I happen to want to extract straight away to my PowerPoints here, just click there. It will open up a Windows here. All right. So you can adjust the heights and all this, and I click exports. Let me open up my PowerPoint. You see this? You're generating the charts. You fit straight to my PowerPoint. Okay, so that's how you can actually pull your to for your presentation and so on. All right. Then of course if you cannot actually edit it anymore. This is the data stream charts here. So you can do things like, for example, this is how you can actually extract it. All right. And then this would be one. Another functions, right, that I will share with you would be on my data stream charts here. Right. On top here, this would be, you see this, we have key indicators. All the indicators are, they have a list of indicators in there. You can go by country. Right. The key indicators. Right. You can drop down by countries. Okay. Or you can search by categories if you want to. Okay. There's this big list in here. Yeah. And of course, also we have a chart book. The difference is that chart books, all these are pre-built charts, right? It will be updated pretty much daily. Okay. You can actually, straight away extract from here also. Say for example, you can go by, let's say, by countries. Right. If I look into emerging markets, say Malaysia, right? Okay. So we have a list in here, right? Let's say we look into fiscal positions here, the steps here. All right. There's a list of charts. Okay. So if I want to use this to get our, public tabs, all you do, just open it up. It will download it. It go back to my chart page here. Okay. So once I'm in here, you see this. If you notice the source here, not just DataStream, but we, because we are partnered with Fathom Consulting. All right. So this you have to credit them. This can't be removed. But over here, I can still customize it. Let's say like PM projects. Let's say for examples. All right. I click OK. Right. So once all is good, remember similarly I can just save and extract it out to my PowerPoint or my Excel and so on. And of course over here you can also add your you can still customize it. Okay. All right. So this will be our data stream charts that I want to share with you. Okay. So now for those of you, if I want to learn more, right, over here, do you see this? You just click here. All right, just click on the training tabs here. It will bring you to this page, right, where it will share with you more on how to use the, the in more details on data stream chartings. Okay. Now to that, right, I will want to share with you back to this page here, Refinitiv training page. Okay. So the website is actually training.refinitiv.com. All right. So from here, you actually can see, some of the terminals. I mean the platform that you are on, right? So for example, in your case, would be an Eikon and data stream. Okay. So from in here, I click on all Eikon courses. All right, all Eikon courses here. So from here, I can choose. You see this? You can go through the training by market segments, right? Like in my case, I want to learn more on on, let's say, on the company informations, company data, and so on. Comes here, right? They have a big list on the different various training by topics, right? So you can actually access from here. Okay. So now to access this is actually free of charge for our users. So all you need, right, is that once you, let's say for example, if I want to view this, right, it will ask for your names and email. So my only ask from you is that please use your university's the emails domain, Yeah, because usually it will reject, if you use the public like Gmails and so on. Is that fine? Okay. So of course, what I will share with you also would be we have like virtual training as well. What I've been sharing with you, in the past like an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, is that we have go through an overview of using Icon and data stream. So um, we also have this called Refrigerative Academy now, right? This team, what they do, right, is that we have like training on various courses on by topics. Okay, so like for example, if you want to do and study on, let's say, M&A equity deals, right? Using icons, we have this here, right? It will spend an hour and a half, yeah, on on that. And of course, if you look into, let's say, for example, this will be pretty much like example is this. They will do on the Philippines market data, right? The Chinese market economic data, okay, and so on, right? Sustainable financing. This is a big topic now, right? People are all talking about sustainable finance, right? In fact, the latest they have all this the meetings in Europe and so on, right? It's all about sustainable, and of course ESG. We have a ESG data training on a 17th. So let's, for example, if you want to attend that, all you have to do is come click here, right? Register yourself in here. Okay. In fact, our training, if you notice here, is some of this is even satisfied eligible for the points by, let's say, in this case would be in Hong Kong, right? Those once they attend training, is even satisfied, to get the training, the points, yeah, for their license. All right. And of course, in the training here as well, I will share with you also. Let me scroll down a bit here. I hope I don't confuse you. Would be the data stream, not this, here. Yep. So this one I'll show you, like the ongoing, the screenings, they on the you see this, the M&A, yeah, all these are you can actually view it, to attend the trainings in here. So most important, please feel free, right, to do check this out, okay, and register yourself if you wanted to to attend and so on. Okay. Now the last but not least is that for those of you if once you are comfortable, all right, using icons and data stream, we even have a certifications, you can do a certification quiz, or I would say like a small quick exam, right? So from here, right, if you got certifications here, certificates here, okay, you have to go through the training, pretty much the training videos here, all right? And then once you're done, you just have to register yourself, all right, and go through the exam, right? Once you pass, you will have the certificates, yeah, which will be quite useful, especially for uh, it will help for your CV, I believe, yeah, to actually to show your future employers that you are satisfied, yeah, you know uh, the basics of using icon and data streams. Okay. All right. So this is pretty much what I have today, right? Now to the floor. Do you have any questions?
Mr. Wong,
Yes, sir.
this what happened to me using the same username. Before this, I
Yes.
log in, I have the full access. But
Okay.
like yesterday, when I tried to log in using the same username, it seems
Uh-huh.
that I have the limited access to certain information. Can it be happen?
Okay. Okay. For that one, right? It will be helpful. Can you drop me an email after this? Like for example, it will helpful. You can share with me your which user ID you're using, and also if you can screenshot to me, what is actually missing on the when you log into the ID. Yeah, because yeah, we need to check why what is actually, you know, why what's actually missing on your access.
So can I have your email address or
Yeah, I will put it in here.
in the chat?
Yes, I'll put it in here. Moment, yeah. So it will be helpful, you know, you tell me what user ID you're using, because you have 10 user ID. So I need to be sure, you know, your user ID. And then of course, if you can also use screenshot or description, what is missing, then I will, yeah, let's check and I will get back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So now, most importantly, right, is that especially, you know, for the students, right? I do understand, you know, a training like this, right? One time it will take a while, you know, because I know some of you saying that, well, it's so much material, right? You know, like we try to, like, you know, just load it up to you guys. So not to worry. You can always, you know, we used to have classroom training in our office, right? Like weekly, every Thursday. Now because of, we all know lah, right? All this, you know, COVID thinking. So in the list, I will send to, you know, Adrina later on this list, so you don't have to worry to download this. I will send to her so she can share to the participant here. You can always there's always register for the so-called getting started icon training. Okay. Second, yeah, there's always here one. There's called getting started icon training, right? Let me find back. There's, yeah, it's have one of these here. So you can always register here, and then, you know, to go through the training again on how, you know, using icon, or even like or like data stream. Okay. So not to worry, like, you know, is this training like one off, or it's just like every 6 months or 3 months? No. The training is actually ongoing, right? Like I show you in this list, we have training like almost daily. In fact, we have like training based on subject now also. Yeah. So I will share this list for you guys later on, and also I will share, you know, the ESG here steps here for you also. All right. Yeah, for you guys, and of course, if you are into the, you know, the financial chart, this, you will get this list as well. This is a 15-page thing on how to use, you know, getting started on using the chartings, right? I believe this will be helps as well, you know, for you to do your you know, your data comparisons, or your, you know, your peers, your assets comparisons, and so on, chartings. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Do you have any questions? If no, we will stop here, right? And of course, you do have my emails and so on. So, like I mentioned earlier, please, you know, emails to me, send to me your, yeah, the user IDs and the screenshots, or a little bit of descriptions, you know, what's missing and so on. So we do have a, you know, support team, right? It's 24/7. So you know, please do allow us to check, yeah, and we'll come back to you on that. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Wong,
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have another
last
question from
question.
Mr. Teo.
Yeah.
Last
Yes,
question.
Mr. Teo.
So for this icon, does it cover for emerging market? Means that for those who the business capital is less than 5 million in Malaysia?
Okay. Now, to your question, right? Yeah, this is a good question. So, does it cover emerging market? The answer is yes. It cover globally. So it actually, you know, cover. I would say, like I mentioned, remember the country page, right? Any country, right? You just type in like say, even Peru, like that, right? It, you have access to the globally, right? Now, um, to the, you know, whether it cover emerging markets or how, right? Then the answer would be, you know, yes, it does cover. Now, for public company, right? For public company, because all this, you know, is a publicly, data and material, so it will be much easier, right? So you just type company name, right? I can confidently tell you, yes, we do have the informations, okay, in there. Now, but now the question is, and then your question also is, it can be like smaller than 5 million, or of any size. Okay. Now the tricky part would be private company that are not listed, company that are private, right? So as you and me agree, it is hard to to get those informations if they do not disclose it to public, right? Because to be frank, the information that you're looking at, you're getting from Eikon and DataStream, all these are publicly available informations. Yeah, we don't just come up um, the data or things like that, right? So for private company, it's very much subjective to whether we can get these informations or not. Like I mentioned, remember the top glove that I shared with you earlier, the country, the company trees, right? um, it actually we can go to the extent of their top glove subsidiaries in the States or in China and so on, right? For on the name, but if they disclose on their revenue, on their profits and so on, then we can share with you. But if it doesn't, then it will be it will be shown are not available. For example, let me show you here. This is maybe not a good example, but let me just share with you private company, right? You see this? Because it shows me here private company, all right, unlisted, right? But because CMB, right, I believe this information is available, they disclose this as well. So we are able to show you more. You see this? The financials and all so on, right? But let's say, as we all know, right, you see this is all disclosed, right? That's why we can share with more. If you look into Grab, for examples, right? So what's the Grab name now? They not sure what's there. So maybe not Grab lah. I put Uber. Uber, right? Now they're listed. So we used to be not listed, right? So we have very very limited, yeah, names, for such. But we will disclose as and when, if you can get such material. So to your questions, it is not a matter of how big or small the company is, but the material or the data that you can get, if it disclosed publicly, yeah. But I can assure you, the companies that cover are global, and yeah, it's all you have to do, right, is come here. You can use the screener. Remember the screener, because in the screener apps, you can go for private or public here as well, right? It cover both. Okay. Hope that answer your questions. All right. Yeah. Any other questions? Know that we will stop here today. And like I mentioned, you have my emails, and also I share with the training website as well. So please feel free, to check that out. And also I will share with you also on the trainings calendars for this month. Feel free to register and attend, those topics, subjects that you find, will be useful for your work purposes. Thank you so much, guys, for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wong Wai Hong, for the explanations. And then thank you so much because you spent your holiday time. You on leave today, right?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay. And then hopefully during this session and all the information that you sharing today can help our students, not only our students lah, but also our lecturer in using Eikon and data stream. Okay. And then the recording for this session, we will share through our social media, which is Facebook and Instagram. And also I will share on email. I will send out the email. So you can check our update post on our social media for the recording link. But not after this, yeah, maybe on Monday, because the Webex will be processing first the video. Okay, so do you have any questions you want to ask? Okay, if no, thank you so much for all the participations and then for your focus today. And I hope I already shared the e-certificate link. Hopefully, you all of you can fill up the forms and to get the e-certificate for these programs. And then if you have any problems or you may email us or email Mr. Wai Hong to get the explanations, or you can WhatsApp me at 04988 2056. Okay, if you got any problem regarding using Eikon or data stream. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Wai Hong, and thank you so much for all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Azrina. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you.
bye. Thank you, everyone.